Alright peeps, so yesterday we went over how to look and kind of analyze a profile face. So I figured, why not, might as well round it out. Let's do a frontal facing face and how I go about thinking about it and how I draw them. So first thing, again, I normally tend to start with like a rounded boxy circle or a square with rounded sides, however you want to call it. And the reason that I do this instead of, for example, a complete circle is because it already gives me the flatness of the sides that I'm going to need in order to determine like the sides of the face. There's a lot of people that just go ahead and do it like this. But I find that this shape is easier to rotate because if I go to the side, I already have a side of the face determined. When you do it with a sphere, you're still kind of guessing, you still have to chop up that little section. That little section right here is the flat side of your head. Let me see if I have like an actual reference here. No, I do not, unfortunately. So let's continue. So that's the reason that I choose shapes like this over a sphere. It's also because the sphere, I always end up cutting the front of it off anyways whenever I'm like drawing profiles and stuff. It's like it always changes for me. So I don't necessarily like drawing with spheres. Now, the next thing you do is I determine where the middle of the face is going to be, and I roughly estimate the forehead of my character. The forehead is not all the way to the edge. It's kind of sitting right in the middle section right there, right? These would be the points of your eyebrows, so like the temple area, and this also leads to your nose bridge, into your nose, into your eye socket, and then from here on out, you just determine cheekbones that wrap around the eye socket into the temple. The cheekbones are above where the jaw is, so they overlap the jaw. The jaw comes out and forward, and it's mostly, whenever you're looking at it from the profile, it tends to be a very short angle on the top and then long. So this part right here is short, and then this tends to be a little longer. But it's still coming from underneath that cheekbone. It has a little bit of depth right here. It doesn't come to a complete point. There has to be like a little bit of roundness if you're actually doing something precise, not stylized. It's like a little ball. And then this pocket right here that gets created, that's roughly where your mouth can go. And the mouth obviously can go up into where the cheeks are if you want to exaggerate it, but if you want to be a little bit accurate, just keep into consideration those cheekbones, and then you draw your mouth according to that. Right? This also determines, once you start cleaning it up, you start seeing, and you make sure that you remember that there's skin, there's no line, so there's slightly overlapping shapes. These little lines right here, that's because of the cheekbones. In this case, I drew a person with really big cheekbones, but it could be somebody with smaller cheekbones. Remember those sides of the face? It's that big pocket that your skull leaves right in the back. So you want to have that. Then we go into the eyeballs. I've shown you guys a lot of videos of how to draw, actual eyes, but it's very, very easy for you. I like to start with the shape that I want the eye pocket to be, the eye socket, because this gives me the top of the cheekbone and it gives me the top of where the eyebrow is supposed to be. So this can change, change shapes, just make sure that it still makes sense inside of that shape. Unless you're going for caricatures, and then you can just go crazy. So we have our eyebrow line, and then I like to draw the eyeball inside, or sketch it out. Now, if you're gonna go for a very, very cartoony look, that's really all you need to do. Just thicken the line on top, and then you have a very cool cartoon eye. If you want to go for a little bit more detail, remember that this is a sphere, so your eyelid has to wrap around and have depth. And that also gives you your eyelid. So in this case, we're going to do a suave, hey, kind of face. I like to thicken the upper line, mostly because it provides an indication of eyelashes. And you don't have to worry too much about adding much detail after that. You can have the middle of your eye. You can have varying degrees of detail. It could be like this, or it could be like that. And this is really where the styling comes in. I personally like to just draw people with black eyes, black pupils. It makes it easy. The mouth. So when you're drawing, remember that you have a skeletal system underneath. So we follow the cheekbone, we would follow, this is where the teeth would be. So I hope you guys understand that this is the reason that we learn anatomy. It's not supposed to be the boring, annoying thing. It's so you can figure all this stuff out. All right, so next up is the nose. So the nose, it's already a little diamond shape, right? We already established that in the beginning. And I have various tutorials on how to do that and how to think like that. So you guys can see it in my YouTube. You guys can see it in my page. You guys can just check it out. Having it as a little diamond allows you to identify the bottom of the nose really easy. The nostrils would go within the bottom part of that diamond, and it also provides a good little pathway for the nostrils. It also provides you space for your nose bridge. And the nose bridge, in case you guys are wondering, boom, 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 boom. That curvature right there where the nose starts coming out, it's normally around where the middle of the eye is, or a little bit higher. So that's a good measure, because then it breaks off into the eyebrows, and then we have your face. The ears are normally where the eyebrow is, but since we have one down, one up, I'm just going to take the middle of it. They come from behind the cheekbone and behind the jaw. So now we have ears. And then whenever you go in and actually, do I have anything to color with right now? No, I do not. Wow. One of the first times that I don't find myself without having something to draw with. I have 30 seconds. So these areas allow you a lot of information, because now you start seeing things as basic shapes. And you can start shading according to those basic shapes. Once you start seeing things like this, everything becomes so much easier. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned a lot. And I hope you guys subscribe to my channels and stuff like that, because that helps me grow. Talk to you guys later. Have a wonderful day.